Okay then, the attach parts tool. What is it and why do you use it? So, the attach part tool can be accessed either through your detailing tab, and it's there. I have an icon there. As a secondary detailer, I get called up to produce drawings with items such as this on. Now this is a single component key clamp fitting, but it is made up from two items. Another example, and the one that we're going to use to demonstrate why you use this tool and how you use it, is a ball and stick. If you're a single standalone detailer new to Tekla, you're probably just welding these up to form a ball and stick, and there's a reason that you don't want to be doing that. If I just unbolt those from that and number this model up, if we produce single drawings, when you use the ball and stick or modeling out, if you produce drawings when your ball and stick assembly is made up from welded components and you run your single parts drawings, you'll see that instead of seeing two single part drawings, you see several, and it's produced one for the spheres, one for each tube section, and one for the palm plate on the bottom. And also in the assembly. You'll see it brings up all those parts when it should only list two items, the stick and the channel. So this is a ball and stick baluster made up from using the attach parts tool, and the difference it makes doing it that method is this. That's right. Number up. Drawings again. Let's just delete and start from scratch. Check assembly again, that's correct assembly. Create from selected. One drawing. Single part. Hopefully we'll only see two drawings. There you go. So that's your handrail standard. Here's a bit of editing, no worries. And your single part for your channel, and if you look at your assembly drawing now, it only lists two components. And of course anything reflected on here is reflected in your reports as well, so you don't want to be seeing 200 spheres listed on your parts, on your materials list, etc., assemblies list, etc., etc. So that's why we use this tool. So how do we create that, and how do we manipulate that? If you go into the attached part and click more, Tekla will tell you that the attach part process cannot be reversed. Once the part has been attached to another part, it cannot be detached from it. Yeah, it's typical Tekla help, i.e. rubbish. If we're going to recreate that one now. In fact, I'm going to delete that one. And I'm going to start again. So, the first thing you need to do is make sure that any bolts that you've got going through your assembly only go through one ply, not this one. And the reason for that is if your bolt passes through both plies before you use the attach part command, when you start to use the attach part command, any cuts and any bolts will disappear, which we don't want. So let's just get rid of the welds. So these are all single parts. So, okay. On this statement here, although stuff can be detached from it, you cannot change the profile of any of the secondary parts. So when you're deciding how you're going to make this component, you pick which member you want to be called up as the main part. So that is what it'll list it up on as in reports. So for instance, on this, you definitely do not want to be picking these as your first item to be picked. I always pick the tube. It's called a baluster and it's a CHS, and that's what it'll appear as in BOM and lists, etc. So we do attach part, and you simply click the part to start with. That's the master part, and anything else after becomes a secondary part. And the reason that these are in different colours is just demonstrate to you how these parts are adding themselves to it. Okay, so that's fairly straightforward. Right, the bit that disputes Tekla's statement is right, we need to put some holes in there, don't we? So this is how I do it. I'm going to apply that on the same plane as that tube there. I'm going to put in it a round number, 40, move it over, 79. It's not really important where that goes. The reason I centralised in it, I'll show you later. So then, this is how you cut parts into this. You can modify quite a bit actually. The one thing that you can't do is change any of these component section sizes. They're fixed pretty much. So the way you cut them, you need all the cuts of the attached part visible. Delete that, undo it, and that brings up all these wires, and these are the editable items. If you want to stretch anything, you pick the pick points on the wires, not on the solids. So we use and cut the wire of the ball with that solid tube, and as you can see, the ends have disappeared where the hole comes in. Redraw that. You can delete that now, don't need that anymore. We need to replicate it for the bottom one. It's not easy to copy that cut to that ball. The easiest way to do it, delete that ball and just copy it down. That's that done. And the reason that I centralise these is so that once it's been created, which it now has, so I can put my bolts back through. So I'll copy it over there. I'm just going to split this tube. The reason we're splitting that tube is we're going to create a rate and rail. Move special rotate. Center line. Delete that one. Bring the whole lot down now to demonstrate I can change quite several features. So if we move this down 100 mil, for instance, we want to match this ball and this ball raking to that, and also the distances. I'll copy that now, 500. And we're going to adjust this to suit. Okay. So if you need to modify any of these shapes, you can't change the ball, obviously. If you try and bring up any properties for it, oops, that's not part of that. It just won't happen. So you do have a limited amount of editing possibilities. If we just rotate that by move, not rotate, pick that grip, and then if you use your Alt button, select those grips and move them down 100 mil. Don't try and move those individually, it doesn't work as well. I don't actually need those anymore. I'm going to, rather than rotate, messing around, rotate, bring them down 100 mil. And just copy those down 500 mil. And hopefully they will still be one item. And that is pretty much the attached part tool. Thank you very much.